Okay, as I was saying, that what you can do is say if this is negative 0.51, then this will be positive 0.51, ne? And then you will count the distance from 0 to 14.64 and add it here. So if you say 135 plus 14.64, what is your answer?
16.1. 16.1.
135 plus 14.64.
It's
135.
149.64.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, 149.6.
Yeah. So that means this is 149.64 and this is 0.51. You guys have any questions?
No.
Are you sure?
We're checking, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next question says, for which values of x in the interval negative 180 to 0, so only up until here, will f of x minus g of x be less than 0? Chuma, do you want to try this one? So only this side. F of x. For which values of x in the interval negative 180 to 0 will f of x minus g of x be less than 0? So in order for the answer to be less than 0, which one must be bigger, f of x or g of x? Chuma.
Okay, ma'am. I think the one that should be bigger is f of x.
In order for the answer to be less than 0, in order to get a negative answer, f must be bigger. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure? You want to try again?
Okay, let me try. In order, I think but maybe you're making doubt my answer.
If you are sure, you must say you are sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. So according to you, f of x must be bigger.
Yes.
So are you saying, okay, at which point is f of x bigger? Which point in the graph? So yellow is f of x and Blue is G of X for Tequin.
Yellow is f of x.
Sorry about that. Oh, sorry for swearing, guys. Yellow is F of X and blue is G of X. So you're saying F of X should be, you said F of X should be bigger.
Yes.
So which point in this interval is F of X bigger? In this interval, is F of X bigger than G of X?
Um. 2. Ma'am, I changed my answer.
Okay, what is your new answer?
G of x should be bigger.
Okay, and at which point is G of X bigger in this graph?
2.
No, at which, because the question is asking about X values. It's asking for which X values or for which values of X. So at which point is G of X bigger than F of X?
Let me see the one that you had colored blue. So that's the one that was bigger than the one
Yeah,
that's
but at which point is G of X bigger than F of X?
2 and 1.
For which values of X? For which values of X? Okay, Mbali, do you want to give it a try?
Oh, let me try. I'm
You don't know.
yes, ma'am.
Nigel, do you want to give it a try? Please hold on. Nigel,
Ma'am,
do you want to give it a try?
yes, ma'am. I think G of X is greater than F of X with 45 degrees, negative 45.
Is that your interval?
Ma'am,
Is that your interval?
negative 45, negative 90, negative 135, and
Interval,
negative 180.
not values. Interval. So it's either you use bracket notation for me or you use greater than less than notation. Interval.
Oh, X is greater or equal to negative 180 and less than negative 45.
So that's where your interval starts. So Are you saying to me that from here, that's when g of x is bigger than f of x?
No.
So are you changing your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me a new answer.
My new answer is negative 1/8 is less
What
or
about
equal
it?
to is less than or equal to x. But x is greater. But x is less than negative 14,64.
Correct. So all this question was asking you is when you minus g of x from f of x, when will you get a negative number, right? And to make things simple for you, I said to you, the only time you get a negative number, because the question is asking us, when is f of x minus g of x less than 0? And the number that is less than 0 is a negative number. So anything that is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, all the way up to negative infinity is less than 0. So the only time you get an answer that is less than 0 is when you minus a bigger number from a smaller number. So if you say 4 minus 6, you're going to get a negative answer. If you say 10 minus 25, you're going to get a negative number. And that is why I said to you guys, g of x has to be bigger, because then if you minus, so if f of x is smaller and g of x is bigger, you're going to get a negative answer. That was the whole point. Ne? And you can also see from your, all you had to do is go to your graph and see where is g of x bigger than f of x. Ne? So g of x is here on top and f of x is here at the bottom. So if you minus, for example, here we have -1, right? And here we have 2. If you say -1 minus 2, your answer will be -3, which is less than 0. Ne? So in this interval, your answer will be less than 0. Ne? So Chuma, do you want to try the next question? The next question is now asking for which interval ne, will f of x times g of x give us a number greater than 0 or equals to 0? Chuma,
Ma'am?
do you want to try that one out? So in order to get, let me erase. So in order to get a positive answer, let me do this. So the question is asking you, for which values of x, when you multiply f of x and g of x, will you get a positive number? Ne? That is either 0 or above. Ne? So in order to get a positive answer when you multiply your numbers, what signs must your numbers have? You must either have a positive
And
times a positive or
a
a
negative.
negative times a negative. Ne?
Yep.
So here in this interval, once again, ne, the space, where on g of x do you either have two positive or two negatives? Let me do this. Let me do it in different colors. At which point in the graphs do you have either two positives or two negatives for both graphs? At which point do you either have able? At which point do you either both have, for both graphs, you have a positive and a positive, or you have a positive and a negative? At which point in the graph?
Negative 45 and positive 45.
Hmm? No, now you must look at your y values and then correlate them with your x values. So in order to get a positive answer, you must either have two positive y values or two negative y values. So at which point do you both have g of x and f of x both be positive or both be negative?
You're asking all of us, or you're asking Chuma, ma'am?
I was asking Chuma for now.
Ma'am, can I just try?
Okay, but you can try.
It's 0.5.
Your answer must be according to the x values, but correlated to the y values. I can't explain what I mean. So at which point, so can you see, let me first explain this. Can you see here with g of x, ne? G of x is only positive. Can you see it's only above the x-axis, ne? It's not, there's no way where it's below the x-axis. And then f of x starts above the x-axis but comes below. So here, f is positive, but then it becomes negative, ne? So look at that. So looking at this, is there a point where both f and g are negative?
Yes.
Is there a point where
Like
both f and g are negative? Where they are both below the x-axis?
0.
No.
No, there isn't. Ne? So that means the answer we're looking for does not have two negatives. Ne? But
Yes.
is there a point where both G and F are positive?
Yes.
Yes.
Where are they both positive? Between which two values are they both positive?
Good.
Between which two x values are both F and G positive?
Negative
T and 45.
45 degrees.
And what? I can't hear you, Mbali. Please repeat. Who was answering just now?
I was answering, and Buddy was also answering.
Okay, what is your answer, Chuma?
I said negative 80 and 45.
Negative 45 degrees.
And negative 45.
You are saying negative 45 degrees and, sorry.
And
You're saying negative 45 degrees and?
negative 80.
Negative 80.
Yes.
Negative 80 is here. And here, can you see f of x is negative, but g of x is positive? And my question was, where are both graphs positive? Bali, what is your answer?
-5 and negative. Let me put this 139 100. Yo. -45 and negative.
Okay, Nigel, do
Sorry,
you have a different answer?
Yeah, they are both positive from 0, ma'am, to -45.
Correct. Here, between these 2 points, you can see both graphs are above the x-axis here in the small box. Because from -45, f of x goes below, it becomes negative. So that doesn't count, because if you take the values of f of x multiplied by the values of g of x, they're going to give you a negative answer. So for example, here we have -1, and then here we have -2. If here I say -1 times +2, your answer is going to be -2, ne? Because your values here are negative and your values here are positive. So multiplying negative times positive gives you a negative answer. But here in this black square, that's the only point in this graph on this interval between -180 and 0, where both graphs are positive. So your answer should be when x is greater than or equal to 45, -45, sorry, but less than or equals to 0. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Bali and Chuma,
yes,
does it
ma'am.
make sense? So
Yes, ma'am.
only this point in the graph are both graphs positive. Ne?
Yes, ma'am.
And then in the entire graph, that's where they are both positive. If they asked us for the entire graph, we could have also used this interval, because this is another interval where they are both negative. So here, when you multiply these graphs, you'll get a positive answer, and here you'll get a positive answer. But because our interval was just -180 to 0, this is our only answer. But if they'd asked us about the entire graph, then we're also going to add this answer, ne? Because on this side, they're also both negative. Ne? I hope that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the last question says, determine the minimum value of h of x if h of x is f of x plus 2. So basically what they're saying is h of x, the formula is cos x plus 45 plus 2. So Nitro, what does the 2 represent?
2.
Mm,
It represents Q, ma'am.
it represents q. And what does q do to the graph?
Shifts up and
Uh,
down.
Correct. Vertical shift. Vertical shift. So now, if now we have a vertical shift of, if we have a vertical shift of plus 2, let's look at our graph. What is our new minimum value? So look at f of x. What is the minimum value for f of x right now? Anyone who feels like answering can answer.
it's -1.
-1. And then if we shift it plus 2, our new minimum value is
Why?
1. So that means we're gonna move 1, 2. So our graph will now be somewhere here. It will go something like this. Does that make sense? So the graph won't change in shape. It won't shift to the left or right. It'll just go up by 2 units. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you guys have any questions regarding today's? You guys have any questions?
No.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, and then the next question asks about let me open the pictures. It says something about 210. It says draw the sketch graph of m of x equals to 10 to x. Ne? So it says f of x is equals to 10 to x. Let me see if we'll see the graph. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to get it to load. So the graph will look, they said from interval 0 to 90. Okay, I don't know why it's showing in pies.
You can share mine, ma'am. I think it's correct. You can first check it.
How sure are you?
100%.
How? Here's Nigel's graph. Here's Nigel's graph. And then the last question asks us, describe how the graph M has to be transformed to form the graph N, where N equals to 50 degrees. Ne? So you're gonna move questions asking. Okay, that means the new graph is going to be shifted 50 degrees to the right. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see your points. Okay, do you guys have any more questions? Do you guys have any questions?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I think that's it for today. And then please send the topic you guys are doing now so I can prepare for tomorrow's lesson.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, what did you just say? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying you guys must tell me what topic we are covering next so I can prepare for tomorrow.